Well, welcome, Hamilton County TV Coaches Show. Today I'm with Coach David Sharpe of the Noblesville Millers. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you, Perry. Great to be here.
Well, Coach, you have to win the first one before you can win the second one, right? So
yeah,
and you did that, but it was much similar to last year's game as far as the way everything started off. So let's talk a little bit about that ball game.
First of all, there's an old adage: there's no such thing as a pretty week one win. They don't exist. And we knew going into the game, we had a lot of experience returning, but that's beside the point. We told the kids, and I told the coaches too, it's like, we're going to make, like, you guys are going to play well 90% of your snaps, but you're going to make 3, 4, 5 critical mistakes, every single person, including coaches. I made quite a few bad play calls. We made some bad defensive play calls. Like, everybody is going to screw up quite a few times on a week one, but it's about staying together, picking each other up. When one side of the ball is hot, the other side might be cold, and we have to account for that. When my buddy screws up next to me, I have to have a good play. We can't have two guys making mistakes, in the same proximity. So we knew that would happen. And you're right about last year. It's just so crazy how the game was so similar to last year. Kind of starting with the second play of the game. We knew Brighton was one of the best players in the state. I mean, everybody knows that. And we knew in their scrimmage they played him at some quarterback, some receiver, and so we knew that was going to happen. And the second play, him riding that mesh and to LaBelle, and we make the tackle. And I've just never seen a pull that late. Just a great play, a pull that late on the read option. And I was upset with our defense because we assumed that he was down, and he was not down, and we did not sprint to the ball. And our defensive backs, our linebackers, it's going to be emphasized here this whole week. They got to sprint to the ball. We did not anticipate. We did not have that football instinct of, I got to get from point A to point B like my hair's on fire. So I was very upset with the first half defense. I mean, them just going up and down the field, making big plays it's unacceptable. We as defensive backs, we have to get better. We have to be stickier in our zone, or whether we're in man-to-man or in zone, but like the ball's in the air, we have to make plays. It's just, you only get a few chances, and we failed to capitalize on those a few times. Okay, but as the game went on, especially in the second half, the fourth quarter, we made the plays that we needed and to win the game. So it was a great overall win because of the blowing a 9-point lead, and then blowing an 8-point lead, and having that emotion on the sidelines. It's going to end up being big for us because we got what we needed to see. To generalize, we got to see a full back and forth, wild, wacky game. And we came out on top. And winning cures a lot of problems, okay?
No, absolutely.
Let's just say they go down, go for 2, and beat us in overtime, that last sequence. We as coaches are probably more mad about some of the mistakes that we've made. So we can't let a week one win gloss over and say, oh, we don't need to work on that because we ended up winning. Oh, no. We made a million mistakes, and we are so eager. It's Monday afternoon right now. We're going out to practice in 2 hours. We're so eager to say, I don't care what the scoreboard said. This play was terrible. This play was bad. This play was average. This play you were slow. This play you didn't do a certain thing correct. So we're going to make everybody better. But it is nice to get that victory for sure.
Yeah, the one thing, Coach, that in fact you mentioned last year that we were in a lot of football games, but we didn't seem to be able to close them out. And your defense gave up 8 points in the third quarter, but didn't give up any in the fourth quarter. And a lot of our defense has always been, we'll bend a little bit, but we won't break. We won't let them put it in the end zone. So
but we did break. We did break a few times, but that's
but I mean in that second half on the fourth quarter.
It is, no, they did a lot better. But when you have 6'5" speedster and Burnham, and I mean, they can make you look silly. Even if we're in decent position, they can win those one-on-one matchups. And we're going to challenge our kids because we're playing another Division I receiver, another Big Ten receiver, this Friday at Bennett Academy. They have a kid that's committed to University of Minnesota, and he's incredibly similar to Burnham. basically the same type of kid, and they're going to have our game film, and they're going to know, they're going to see some success that a big, tall receiver had, and a kid like Bridenthal, they've got a kid like that too, so it's going to be a tough test, and we got to get better, but I know we will get better. There's always a huge improvement from week 1 to week 2.
I bet you're going to practice on holding on to the ball too, right? That'll probably be a drill you'll be doing. But I'm sure you do that quite a bit anyway.
Ball security is obviously a huge thing. The 2 fumbles, one was just an exchange. Landon and Sharpe just kind of bumped elbows, and the ball came out. And we told the kids we practice handoff exchanges until we're blue in the face, because it's got to be muscle memory. We can't afford to be 99% accurate. It's got to be 100% accurate. It almost cost us a game. That would have been huge, punching one in right before half. It's kind of a 14-point swing because they end up scoring with 1 second left before halftime. And then the second fumble, I wanted to highlight Gage Gully. He had the best halfback game since I've been here, right? The halfback position. I've never seen a kid run that quick, that hard, and just drive the pile forward in the alley. And now he had tremendous blocking from Drew and Ransom and Blake Cole and Nate Ham and Michael Bennett, and then great reach cutoffs from Aiden Brewer and Ben Decker. But Gage just got those shoulders square. He's so smart and he's so physical. But you're right, on one of his last runs, as he's going forward, it was just an unforced. It wasn't forced out. The ball just slipped out. And we're going to obviously emphasize that almost cost us the game. So we're going to emphasize ball security, which we always do, but it's going to get overemphasized today.
Coach, on a positive side too, of course, everyone by now, after playing his first season as a freshman, Logan Schaffner had another great game with 186 yards and 8.9 per carry. But Gage Gully and Blake Widget did a nice job. And Gully was over 100 yards with 114. Widget had 72 yards. And you're right, your speed, you have more speed now in that backfield, and you're driving the ball hard. I mean, of course, you already talked about Gully, but we're pushing some ways through.
We've told the offensive lines get so much experience. They play so hard. They're really good. We told them that this year you're going to get bailed out a little bit. Schaff and Blake Widget and Gage Gully and Landon Hughes, Aiden Brewer, they're going to bail you out. And things do not have to be blocked perfectly to gain yardage this year. Last year it kind of did. If it wasn't perfectly blocked, it's probably not going to go anywhere. And this year we just had more wiggle, and that was showcased. Logan Schaffner had tremendous vision and made the perfect cuts when he had to, and he just doesn't go down. And then I mentioned Gage Gully, and then Blake Widget, a big step up too. We've known Blake's very talented since we've met him when he walked in the door as a freshman, and we knew that it's just a matter of time before he is going to make his impact felt. And some of those touchdowns, him just punching it in, just like from the 5-yard line, just bam, bam. That's what we needed. That's what we knew he could do. We knew he has a burst. He's very physical for a kid that's not very big, as is Gully, as is Schaff, and they had a great game. And we didn't have to break our double tight much. You know, we've practiced all off season because we knew we were going to have to break and go to spread eventually to take advantage of their speed, of Schaff's speed, AB's speed, Gully and Widget. And Landon's got a big arm that we want to showcase for sure, but we were just driving the ball. It wasn't broke. We didn't have to fix it, and it was great because the ironic part is like if we can stay in double tight, we can be rather conservative and just keep chewing the clock. But then and we didn't have to force any mistakes. But then we end up making the mistakes just on those 2 fumbles. So, but we're ready. Like today, we have to practice all of our off-season wrinkles with the different types of offensive looks that we have, because we don't know when we're going to need them. We needed them a few times. We got into some second and uncomfortables, particularly after the holding penalty. We were able to use Landon Hughes in shotgun, doing our read option game, and he made 3 beautiful reads out of the shotgun, made the correct read every time, and that was huge for us. Kind of bailed us out from a couple of second and uncomfortables, got us back into either third and short, or one time Logan actually scored a touchdown. So we were ready to dial stuff up when we needed it, but I give I give our offensive line credit. They basically, they didn't say it, but they just said, you don't need to break the tee. We will we'll get you 5 yards whenever you want it. And for the most part, they did.
I thought, you went in the first game in front of 6,000 people, and you had a freshman behind at quarterback in Landon Hughes. But he did a great job managing the game. I mean, he didn't have any interceptions or anything like that. So for a freshman in front of, because it's easy to go out here and practice all the time, and he does well. But when you walk out there in that stadium, in that situation on Friday night, there's probably not many better than that atmosphere that night.
We felt very comfortable giving Landon the keys to the car, and he's got a demeanor that I think is very special for a young guy. And he's the 2 runs that he had just showed us the spark. He had a keep where he runs through traffic very, very well, and he's going to have a jagillion carries throughout his Noblesville career. We really love him as a runner, and he's going to throw the ball a lot too. But you're right. This was a perfect game to just ease him in, and I think it's going to be, you're just going to see continuous improvement from here on out. The one pass that he did flip to goalie in the first half was just beautiful, perfect touch. Kind of shows that, like, we know he can throw the ball deep, and we tried to do that a couple times. We didn't execute it, but his future's so bright, and as a runner and a thrower and a leader, and it was just fun to see. It was fun to see him have a good time in that atmosphere, because, man, there was so many people there, and for a freshman, it's really remarkable. Yeah, very proud of Landon.
Yeah, let's kind of switch over on the defensive side. I know we gave up 35 points, but there was some good tackling at times, and there was some that weren't so good. But people like Hastings and Speak and some of those others had a great game. I mean, they were all over the field.
Yeah, right. So
just some letdowns, but
just like on offense, there were some letdowns, defense a few letdowns, but biggest play of the game is Gavin Kenyon just not giving up on. It was a rollout hard to the right. He extends his zone. He flies to the other side of the field, and Breidenthal tries to throw it to Burnham, and here comes Gavin like a heat-seeking missile. Boom, picks it off, and then we score a couple plays later. And that kind of gave us the lead, kind of a permanent lead. I know they tied it late, but that big pick kind of set the tone that this is our ball game. You guys are going to be playing from behind the whole time. It's up to us to see if we can hold this lead and keep adding to that lead. But without that big pick from just a total hustle play by Gavin, could be a totally different game. And you're right about Austin Hastings. He's a bulldog for us as a middle linebacker, and he made some tremendous plays. We're able to get some late pressure. In the second half, Mac Linus had a big pressure, big sack that helped out for sure. And then Chris Degney swatting down the last play of the game, the 4th and 15, was great to see. And there was just a lot of plays that were so close, like when Burnham caught the 50-yard fade. It's like Carter Richardson is right there, and the ball it's an inch over his finger. It's like we're so close, but we're going to start making those plays. Same thing on the 4th down and 8. They run a 8.5 yard hitch, and the kid catches it right in front of the sticks, and it's like we're there. Just swat it down. Get a little stickier in the zone. The ball's coming out. We got to anticipate ball coming out and reading the quarterback's eyes and being ready to just be a half step quicker, because those are HCC type playmakers. Yeah, absolutely. We know everybody's going to have a guy like Burnham and Breidenthal and those types of guys.
Coach, one thing that I always look at, because I know that in 6A football, especially in the Hoosier Crawford Conference, we got a lot of talented football players, okay? Mm-hmm. But I always think special teams can make a difference in whether you win or lose in 6A football in the Hoosier Crossroad Conference. And you mentioned Jack Letourneau several times last week. You're going to be amazed.
Were you amazed?
I was very amazed.
How about that?
Yeah, that was really great. And one of the great things, and we couldn't do this last year, is Jack can put that ball in the end zone on kickoffs, okay? And that's huge, okay? Because they're not going to get any run back.
Right, and that's
So I was very, very impressed with him, okay, in the ball game. And I know you talked about it on and off the air last week to me about Jack Letourneau, and I thought he did a great job doing that.
So when you add up the math from last year to this year, so we scored 6 touchdowns, I think. So
Yeah.
so it's 7 kickoffs total, right?
Right.
Right. I think we're 4 of them touchbacks, if I recall.
Yes, yes.
So just that from last year, average starting field positions around the 36, 37-yard line. This year it's closer to that 20 or 25, and it's just right there. There's 60, 70, 80, 90 yards of field position just taken away because of Jack's offseason, his hard work. So, I mean, that's enormous for us. I can't understate that enough. Very proud of him.
You're right, and of course.
We got him back another year. He's still got another 20 games as a Miller kicker.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And and of course, your kickoff return guys, and are very good too.
We got a nice spark from that too.
It's very scary when you look at.
Schaaf had a
what's
couple
back.
nice ones.
Yeah.
Widget fielded one, and then Trey Speak had a.
Yeah,
had,
that's what I
had
was
one
going to say.
too.
When you got those 3 guys back there,
Yeah.
that's very, very dangerous. So I thought overall, just like you said, it's the first game. We got a lot to learn. We got to get better and everything. And we know that ACC is coming up here, and we'll start that next week. But we got a game this week of a very, I don't know too much about them, because they're in Illinois. But
I can tell you a little about them.
yeah, I'm sure you can. But they got good competition. I know that you talked about a couple of their players, and that makes a big difference in a football game. So, and it's going to be a little bit different too for our kids, because maybe a 45-minute ride on a bus is about all we do, and that's a long trip for us. I mean, we're 10 minutes from Fisher, Southeast, or Westfield.
Right.
So we play a pretty compact schedule, and now you're on the bus, and you're riding 3 hours up there?
Maybe more than that.
Okay.
But
Traffic-wise.
Yeah.
But how do you prepare a little bit different? Because I've talked to other coaches that have had to take trips, okay, and you kind of have to prepare a little bit more for those.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you all about how this got started. So we were supposed to play Terre Haute South yet again, and in I think April, Terre Haute South just refused to play us. They broke the contract. They had to pay a fine, and we had no game. And I was as nervous as I've ever been in my life, because everybody's booked in Indiana football. We called everybody. Everybody's like, nope, we already got a game. Everybody's got a game. Everybody's got a week 2 game. Luckily, one of my great friends in coaching, Keith Kinder at Mishawaka High School, we actually went to high school together, and now he's the head coach at Mishawaka. But he called me, said, hey, I think I know a guy who knows this private school in Chicago area that they had the same thing happen. Whoever was supposed to play them just backed out. And so just luckily through a couple of networking, we were able to get a hold of each other, and they said, absolutely, we need a week 2 game. You guys need a week 2 game. So it's going to be a 1-year deal, Bennett Academy. It's a very wealthy private school in Lisle, Illinois. The game will actually be played at what's called the College of DuPage, which I believe is in Glen Ellen, Illinois. It's way up there in the burbs, but like I said, a wealthy community. They played in this prestigious Chicago Catholic Conference. Might have heard of schools they play, like Joliet Catholic, St. Rita's, Notre Dame Prep, Marian Catholic. These are all big-time powerhouses.
Yeah.
A lot of these schools end up going to state because they're smaller, because the Catholic schools are usually smaller, and so they're always, just like how Chittard and Roncalli and Cecina, they always make deep runs in Indianapolis. Same thing with this Catholic League in Chicago. So we'll see a very disciplined team, a very well-coached team. I mentioned the receiver going to Minnesota, number 19. They have an incredibly physical linebacker, about 6'2", 220, that started last year. That's a maniac on the field. So they have some players, and the one advantage we have, this is week 1 for Illinois.
Okay.
And our week 1, we got to play in front of 7,000 people, and some of our players that were first-year starters, how about is like Landon Hughes, like Michael Bennett, that's a way to break into high school football.
Absolutely. That's Texas style.
It was like a Texas high school game. So that experience is going to be great for them. And Bennett's going to have quite a few first-year starters in their first game. It's just going to be an enormous difference, especially early on, we hope. Now, we got to get on a bus, but whatever. The kids have their cell phones. They'll play their little Angry Birds or whatever they do, their Snapchat, their FaceTime, whatever they do. 3 hours will go by before they even know it.
Right.
And we are getting out of school a little bit early. So thanks to our administration for that. So we'll be there in plenty of time, but the old rush hour traffic, we're going to probably hit Chicago around 5 o'clock, so it's going to get ugly, but it is what it is. It's better than no game, because there was
Absolutely.
there was a time for 2 or 3 weeks I was like, we have this team coming back that I'm so excited to coach, and we're not going to have a game. It was just terrifying. It was breaking my heart.
Oh, yeah.
And then we finally got this one in. So 1-year deal, and then the next 4 seasons, 23, 24, 25, 26, we have a 4-year contract with Homestead,
Oh, okay, good.
south side of Fort Wayne. So we hope
They're always a good football team.
it should be a great match for the next 4 years for week 2. So,
Okay, good. Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Best of luck on that travel up there. And probably this time next week we'll be talking about the game in Illinois, and also be talking about traveling a long ways to Fishers to play the Fisher Tigers.
I might be a little sleepy because we probably won't get back till 2 in the morning, but hopefully my sleeping patterns can adjust next time I talk to you on Monday.
All right, sounds good. Thanks a lot,
All right.
Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Perry. Go Millers.